Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. It is an
Yeah,
absolute
thanks
pleasure,
for having me.
particularly well because of the time difference as well. Obviously, it's good morning to you, whereas it's good
Yeah,
evening to me.
yeah,
Today going well so far? Early
it
days?
is. It's a little cloudy, a little bit of showers today. So,
You feeling good
but
though?
yeah, I feel great.
Cool, cool. I mean, on that, what's an average morning like in the life of Sean when you're not on the road? So, like, what's a day like today? What would you normally be doing?
So I'm a general contractor. That's where my money comes from, basically. Um, I'll wake up at 6 a.m., brush my teeth, get my meds together, and kiss the wife goodbye, and head out the door. Go get my coffee at the market, and then head to work here in Rockland, which is about a 35-minute drive for me.
Okay, that's not too bad. Not too bad. So
Yeah.
early mornings are your bread and butter. You're used to getting up early.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
wake up early on the weekends. If I sleep in, it's till 7 at the latest.
Right. Yeah, I get that. I get that. What's how much is a routine important to you? Like, so not necessarily in your home life, but say we're on the road. You're on the road, especially when you've got to go outside the United States. Routines. How important is it for you to have one?
I think it's important in that when like say at sound check, I don't eat. I don't like to fill my stomach up because it's hard spitting all those words out with a full stomach. So I'll usually get something very early and something large for breakfast, and then sound checks are usually around 2, 3 o'clock. Do my sound check, have a snack, maybe some salad or something like that, and then just rest and chill out and try to be composed, take a nap maybe, and then I like to be in there while the supporting act's going on, getting ready to go on stage, and have a couple cocktails right before I go on, and then loosen up a little bit, and then go have at it.
What's the cocktail of? Do you have a cocktail of choice, a specific one that you like to have a drink of
Uh,
before?
it's not a drink I drink a lot, but before I go on, I'll have a Red Bull and vodka.
That's a nice one. That
Yeah,
yeah, that kind of
plenty
gets
of
the energy
toxins,
going.
plenty of toxins in there to get you started.
What about getting in the headspace of going away overseas for weeks at a time? Because of course, very much the case throughout April and May. You're heading out of the US, you're coming over to Europe and the UK, a lot of dates. That headspace, what do you have to do to get yourself prepared for that?
Before I leave home, I just want to make sure everything's taken care of, everything's in order. My On my projects that I run, my son he'll cover for me while I'm gone. Um, so that's nice because he's basically my eyes and ears when I'm out there. But make sure all the bills are paid, that the yard's in good order, and my wife's happy. And then it's just about heading out, and it could be a little stressful, the lead up to it, because you tour a bunch of times, but stepping into the unknown is basically how it feels to me sometimes. But once you get there and relax and get your clock straight, and you meet the people that you're working with, and it becomes a bond. It's everything just seems like normal day to day operations.
Do you feel well prepared at this stage for the tour coming up?
Yeah, we've got 5 straight days of practice coming up here. I got some new musicians going out with me this time. And yeah, so the more we practice, the less tense I feel.
Yeah. So those 5 hardcore days of just getting everything nailed down, yeah?
Yeah, and they're working on the material now. So, and our first show is in Las Vegas, and then on the 10th of April, then the 11th we played the Teragram Ballroom in Los Angeles with Evil Dead,
Mm.
uh, and then we come home. That's a Friday, so we drive home Saturday. I got Sunday, Monday, and then we fly out Tuesday to London.
Yeah, of course, it's the first state of the European side of things. The UK side of things is London, my hometown. Oppressing the Masses for 35 years, of course.
Yeah.
These, considering you're going to be playing this iconic album in full, what do you need to do to prepare for that specific task? Because that's a different thing to just playing a best of, isn't it?
Yeah, to play the record in full, there's a lot of songs we haven't played live, even when the original members were in the band with me. But you know, like Liquid Courage and Oppressing the Masses. We never we used to play Liquid Courage live, but the Oppressing the Masses, Engulfed by Flames, we haven't played live. We do play a lot of the album mixed with Eternal Nightmare on a typical show night and some Let the World Burn songs. But you know, it's one of those things I just got to make sure I don't forget the words because you know, coming back from, you know, playing back in the day, and now it's like, man, why do I write so many words? But you know, there's a message there, so without that it doesn't get across as well, I guess.
What tricks do you have? What do you do to ensure like you're remembering lyrics and things like that?
So you know, the songs we play all the time, they're ingrained in my brain. And then what I'll do is, if we're working on like taking out the Liquid Courage, for instance, I'll just try to remember the first word of each verse, so that once that word kicks into my head, it's. But if I think too hard, then I'll start. That's when I'll forget stuff if I think too hard. So it's got to be like, you know, organic, you know, just coming right out of you at the time that you're performing. So,
muscle memory, right?
Yeah, muscle memory. And you know, the key is not to get carried away by looking at the crowd, because and watching what they're doing and being entertained by them, because that's when I will forget words. I'll forget even to start. I'll sometimes even forget to start like a verse.
Oh, what a curse, right? To be distracted by a crowd having a great time.
I know.
Going back to, like, you know, preparing for a tour and you're heading out overseas and you're coming to Europe and the UK, so a long way from home. What's the one thing that you always make sure you bring with you? Is there anything specific that you either it's personal to you or it helps you on tour?
My passport. No, but I have, I had a health scare a while ago, so I have several medications I have to take. So I have to make sure those are with me and not like in my suitcase, you know. And so that's important to me. But you know, my earbuds and music downloaded on my phone, so I can just kind of veg out while I'm on the plane for 10 and a half hours or whatever it is.
It's a long one, isn't it?
Man, those flights, they get to your coccyx, you know, your fucking lower back. Oh,
yeah.
That's where it always messes me up, those long flights. I got to get and walk around.
How do you know your itinerary? How soon, like how early you coming to London directly? How long before the show are you coming in?
So we usually fly in, and so if we leave here on Tuesday, we'll land there Wednesday, and then the show's Thursday, the first show. So I like to have that day just to like rest and get our heads amongst this and get something good to eat and, you know, be prepared. I don't like to fly in and then do a show at the same time, especially that long flight. It's a long, you know, you've come to the States?
No, I've never been to the States, but I know that flight is long.
Yeah, it is.
But I hate flying in general. An hour flight from here to Europe is too much for me.
That's like from here to LA.
At least that's the joy, at least, right? When you are here, getting around, like within the UK, obviously very, very simple, but also within Europe, you go to Spain, Portugal, Germany. It's not difficult to get around, is it?
No, well, the promoters, we have a bus for the UK leg with Exorder. And then Spain, the promoter there is handling everything. So we arrive, they transport us, they take care of the gear, and you know, put us. If we get a hotel, they'll take care of our hotels, and so I have been over there. We've driven ourselves, and the one place I won't drive is the UK, because when we had a van driver, I was like getting very confused, being on the wrong side of the road for an American.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, your London show's in Camden as well. So to drive, say there, traffic, it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, so that's why I'm glad we got a bus so we can rest while we're traveling.
What do you so you land in London, you've got a day, you chill out, you relax, you catch up on some sleep, try and get your body clock in order, all of that stuff, but you get out, you want to go eat something. What's a favorite for you? Not necessarily a place in London that you remember or know, but what would you be looking for?
Well, I usually will go to the concierge at the hotel and ask them because that's where you always get the local, the best places, not the tourist traps. So,
Mm.
like we were in Athens, Greece, and the woman at the hotel there, she sent me to a place, and it was down an alleyway, somewhere you probably wouldn't even venture down, and
Right.
they had the best dolmas and the grilled octopus, and it was fantastic. But the other guys, they went to where all the tourists are, so they were eating like uh, I think they had pasta. And that's the great thing about being over there. Everywhere you go has pasta bolognese. It's always good.
I guess it all depends on your taste buds.
Yeah,
We do plenty of crap food in the UK as well, so you'll have to find some special places.
yeah, that's okay. I mean, that's part of the venture. Adventure is see how much your gut can deal, how much your gut can adjust.
I hear you. But what made you decide, look, I want to do this, celebrating 35 years of oppressing the masses. What made you want to do it?
Well, when we played Oakland and celebrated 35 years of Eternal Nightmare 2 years ago, I was like, well, 2 more years we'll be celebrating this record. But
Mm.
I'm doing it, and it's an important record, I think, especially for Europe. Christian, who has since left the band, he that was his inspiration, was oppressing the masses, and I know that it's a big deal out in Europe. It's a big deal here in the U.S. too, but that was one that record I think had a big impact out there, and I can't wait to play it live, and see the reaction of the crowd.
Yeah, I was kind of looking back at some of the statistics around it. You're right, like it really connected with Europe in a different way. Do you know what? Can you put your finger on why? Is there any, or is it just a matter of, well, it just did and it's luck to a degree? On a quality album, obviously.
I think what's funny is when we recorded that record with Alex Perry Allison, he came to listen to it in our
Mhm.
studio, and he was the first thing he said after we finished. I think we started with Liquid Courage, and he's all, "I thought you guys were slowing down," but and I think too, Rob has a big contribution on that record as opposed to Eternal Nightmare. He wrote "Calling in the Corners" music, but "Oppressing the Masses," the intro to Liquid Courage, and I Profit, and some of those heavy, dark riffs, those grinding riffs were from Rob, and I think that's why I think it's a lot more like accepted in different parts of the world. It just has a better combination of writing, with Rob involved.
Oh, it is a quality album. And a lot of people, it's a very, very exciting time, and the dates are doing well already. But the plan, like, so 2 years ago, you think, okay, 2 years time, it's 35 years, I want to do this. How easily does that plan come together? And there were the times where you kind of felt, look, this isn't going to work out.
Well, I got a good management team, so Jeff Keller's my manager, and he knows we talk about stuff like that, and
Hmm.
oh, it's 35 years gonna be coming up. I'd love to do some stuff, and then we had the festival. Shoot, what's it called now? It's on the tour. We branch off to go to the festival in Germany and come back. Keep It True
Oh,
Fest. We
yeah.
had that booked, so then he and Enzo over at Decibel Booking worked together to put this tour around that date, and so there it is. And then he presents it to me, and it's like, yeah, that sounds like fun. Let's go do that.
No reservations. Just, it sounds like fun. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I figured you only live once, right? And so, being that I almost died, that
Hmm.
takes on a whole new meaning.
Well, I mean, without being morbid about it, is that like a motivating factor for you these days? Because of course, you're not only continuing to play live, but you're cementing your personal legacy and the legacy of Vio-Lence as well.
Yeah, it's a big driver for me. It wasn't during my illness that I would kind of think about stuff like that. It was afterwards when there was a benefit concert for me and a benefit golf tournament for me that fell through, and just seeing all those people out there inspired me to want to like get back to them. So I somehow, some way, I was going to get back on stage, and after the surgery and sitting there staring at the ceiling going, man, how did this doctor take this major organ out of my body, replace it with another one? And I'm still looking at the ceiling, that's kind of how the impact you have, right? Where you're kind of contemplating stuff that just happened to you. And then, and then it's just like, that's when 6 months after my surgery, I was healthy enough to, go back to work and stuff. And so that's when I sent Phil a text saying, hey, we should do a show.
And the rest is history. It is
But
wonderful that
it's a driver for sure.
What else? What else though kind of motivates you at this particular stage? Because you could argue you don't really need to jump on a plane and come over to the UK. The legacy's there, it's cemented, it's strong, beloved, you and the band in general.
Because everywhere I go, that no one's seen. Because we didn't tour back then, we had never gone to Europe, so it doesn't matter where we go in the world. It's the first time a lot of times that people have seen the music live, and I think it's a lot different to see it live because then you get the total effect of those riffs and the lyrics and the anger that comes flying off the stage right in your face. Because I'm like Dr. Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde, right? That's my Mr. Hyde moment, going on stage, and I could be just chilling out backstage and 2 minutes up on stage going crazy and looking at people like I want to cut their throats.
You know that character change happens though, right? You're acutely aware of it nonetheless. So you are still in control of your violent mindset.
Yeah, and it's a release too, But yeah, I just love playing live, and seeing people react to the music, and yeah, and it's always great. And what the best part is that over the decades, when we play shows, you'll see the people that were there in the beginning. Maybe they were 15 when the record came out, when our records came out, and then they introduced their kids, and then you see kids that the algorithm, they're looking at some other band and it pulls us up, and then they're there. So it's a wide range of ages, and it's always fun to see that, when you're out there, because every show I go out and I take pictures with people and sign autographs. I make it it's part of my routine after we play. Go back, get a water, cool down a little bit, and then go out and take some pictures and sign autographs. And then I get to see the different age groups of all the people that are there, and they appreciate wonderful. That. Yeah, and they appreciate that. I like them.
It is just wonderful though to sort of see that age range and variety of people coming to your shows. I think back to I was five. I was five when this album came out. I'm 40 now. So, but it was 2022 Bloodstock, which was my first, obviously, experience. But obviously, growing up and experience and knowing, and the legacy and the music and the songs, and then the opportunity finally arises. But I'm there with he would have been, what would he have been? My 16-year-old son, and he's also seen you for the first. It's incredible, that range, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, my son, he had never seen the band until after my surgery, and we went out and played the reunion shows, and he was right there in the pit. He was 16, I think, at the time. Maybe, hell, he might have been 13. Yeah, he might have been 13 or 14 at the time, but yeah, he was in the pit, crowd surfing, stage diving, doing everything that I used to do when I was his age, but don't do anymore.
Well, of course. What about the rest? What about the rest of the set list? Have you kind of decided on what songs are going to be played elsewhere around the album?
Yeah, we have to put the usual suspects in. I mean, how could we play a show without Eternal Nightmare? And there's a few other songs from Eternal Nightmare, but it's mostly focused on the Oppressing, and then and I think we mixed the set list pretty well that people will enjoy it, and then we'll be slipping in a song from Let the World Burn also.
Oh yeah, it's going to be awesome. And while, of course, I want you to have a wonderfully relaxing time, I also want you to be incredibly busy, because busy is exciting. Aside from tour work, is there any particular thing that's keeping you busy music-wise, aside from the work and planning for the tour?
Gathering up musicians has kept me pretty
Mm.
busy. I lost Christian 30 days before the tour, or maybe 35, and then and I never. It's not something that makes me bitter or anything. It's just that he's got another opportunity that's as a substantial opportunity, to be with Cypress Hill, and he's got Power Flow coming. I think their record's coming out or is already out. He'll be
Mm.
touring with Sindog on that, and that's a real good connection for him. So it just got to be too much on his plate, and and so he bowed out, and I still we're buddies. I mean, I totally respect what he had to do, and then I had a young guitar player, and then he bailed for reasons that I don't want to discuss because they're not. It wasn't a adult thing to do, but then that's what happens when you get young musicians. Sometimes they make
Mm.
young mistakes, but so I've been busy trying to gather up a lineup. And so on this tour, we got Nick Souza on drums, which is people know his dad, Steve Souza, Zetro. And then I got Jeff Salgado playing bass, and he's in a band. His band is Psychosomatic, but he was available. And I got brought back Ira Black. I've always enjoyed Ira. I think he's a
Yeah.
great guy. He's someone that you like to have around. He's very supportive, very positive attitude. And then we were going to take Max Georgiev, but some the scheduling conflicts came up, so we're bringing Claudius Kramer with us from Possessed. So that's been keeping me pretty busy.
No kidding. No
Yeah.
kidding.
And then
What do
after
you,
the tour, we've been putting music together, and we'll start writing some music. I want to get a full length album out.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But we should be able to accomplish it by the end there. I've talked to a couple of other musicians too that want to contribute. So some big names
Okay.
that would be fun. They'll be fun to mix it up. And I don't want it to be like the Let the World Burn. We went at that with a straight thrash metal attitude, and this coming up, it's me and some people that new people I haven't written with, and I just kind of want to make it. That, but a little more.
Mm. You've got plans in place. That is very, very exciting. What do
Yeah.
you look for? You're looking around for musicians either to play with live or work together in the future on music. What do you specifically look for from a musician to work with?
Um, like I don't mind what genre they're typically playing. So, Max is with Falling in Reverse, he was, it's that kind of big stage metal uh that's out there, and which is nothing close like Violence. But and I like musicians that have a death metal, approach that, that's what they're into. And um I myself, I'm big on dark wave, and I really don't listen to a whole lot of metal. I think it's a
Yeah.
good thing too because I'm not influenced by it. So, but yeah, and I'm just looking for professionals that can pick up the guitar and learn the songs in a short notice and be ready. And that are have the right attitude when you're on the road. Because when you're on the road, you got to behave yourself, and you're in foreign countries. You don't want to be doing something stupid because you've been drinking or doing something you shouldn't be.
Of course, yes, that's the last thing you want to happen. How do you gauge that side of things though? Because obviously when you're first meeting someone, you don't really know them, and being on the road with someone compared to say meeting them and chatting to them at home is a different thing completely.
Yeah, well, you'll find a lot out on the road. The road tells all the tales. Everything
Yeah.
comes out. So, if you fit in, you fit in. If you and if there's like just some, it's one of those things. Uh, it's an attitude, right? You got to be like able to be confident within yourself, to be able to go on stage to begin with. So, and then you don't want that confidence to become arrogance. So you want to be around people that are confident and that they can perform, and still
Mm.
humble, and understand that, this is an opportunity for you that wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people that were paying to come see you. So I
Sounds
like
good.
that attitude, that level headedness.
Well said. It's the only sensible way to do it these days as well, particularly considering how much work has to go into making sure its tour is successful. And
Yeah.
speaking of the kind of success side of things, because that is obviously measured in many different ways, you will have your own personal measure of success. For you to return home, and when you reflect on the tour as a potential success, what do you hope will have happened in all the venues across the country, so to speak?
Well, of course, any musician wants to sell out every show they play. That's goes without saying. But I just want people to, at the end of the day, to be able to reflect back. That's why I go out and meet people and sign autographs and take pictures after we play. I think that's a way I can really gauge, the people that come to see us uh, and the reaction of the crowd. You really want a good reaction from the crowd. But I
Mm.
reflect back on, okay, was it successful? We spread the name, we spread the music. People are wearing shirts that reflect their experience at the show, because we'll have tour shirts with us.
Oops.
And just it's not about money for me. It's about enjoying it. And did I enjoy it? And did the people enjoy it? And was everybody happy at the end of the day? And was I
Sounds
able
good.
to pay my musicians?
That just enough money to survive, but everybody having a blast and sellouts, right? That's
Yeah.
what we want. It's not too much
Yeah,
to ask.
I know. Come on.
Hell yeah, but it's not too long to wait now. 17th of April is when you land in here. Of course, there's two Vegas shows first, but we got like England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Germany, Portugal, Spain, you name it. It is an incredible tour, and I can't wait to see you when you arrive in London, because that's where I will be. Sean, thank you so much
Excellent.
for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and spread the violence.
Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.